Hello everybody, it is Wednesday. Of course, we did not have a video yesterday because it was test day. On test days, you do not do a lesson, you just do the test. So you probably felt like you had a little bit of an easier day, especially compared to last week when you had a quiz and a video and a lesson all in one day. Okay, a lot of times when we see n in an equation, we tend to almost turn our mind off because we feel overwhelmed by it. But I want you to notice as we work through this that it is absolutely something that you can do. You will find it to be very easy. I wanted to remind you that the yellow at the top of each new lesson, don't forget to look back at that. It's there for you even if it's a week from now and you have a question, okay? All right, an equation is a mathematical sentence that uses the equal symbol to show the two expressions are equal. Sometimes an equation contains an unknown number that is usually represented by a letter of the alphabet. Take a look at our example. N plus 5 equals 6 times 3. So the unknown is represented by a letter, and that letter is N. Okay, note step 1, solve the side without the unknown number and write the answer below. Rewrite the side with the unknown number. Okay, so 6 times 8 is the side without the unknown number, so that is equal to 18. So you're going to have n plus 5 equals 6 times 3. Then you're going to write n plus 5 equals 18. You're going to rewrite that. See where it says rewrite the side with the unknown number? You'll rewrite that there too, okay? Now, step 2. To solve for n must be left all alone. Therefore, you will subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. Remember this bold-faced wording. Whatever is done to one side of an equation must also be done to the other side of the equation. So n plus 5 minus 5 equals 18 minus 5. Okay, so do you see? So you've got the n left because 5 minus 5 is 0. So you've got the n equals 18 minus 5, which is 13. So the n equals 13. It says check the number by rewriting the original equation, substituting the answer for n and solving. Both sides of the equation should have the same number. So we're going to go back to the top, and we're going to put 13 plus 5 equals to 16 times 3. 13 plus 5 is 18. 6 times 3 is 18. So that's where that comes from. 13 plus 5, 6 times 3. We just went back up here, plugged this number in here. There you go. Okay? If that seemed a little scary and you're like, whoa, Miss Nance, I'm a little lost here. Okay, I want you to take a little break. And I'm going to give you what we're supposed to highlight for today, and then we're going to do some more examples together. I would like for you to highlight this because you're going to need to solve equations on test 15. Remember, you just took test 14 yesterday, so you have to take a quiz before you take another test. So it'll be about a couple weeks before you will be having this on the test. So you have plenty of time to work, okay? Typically, there's one quiz a week, and the next week's a test. Okay, so that's the only thing you're highlighting on this page. And then on page 258, you're highlighting 6, and you're going to write quiz 15, okay? So that means you're going to need to make sure you know this by next week, next Tuesday probably. Write the correct temperature in each blank. But this, you've got a little while, okay? All right, let's go back to class practice. Finish these equations, okay? So this one, let's see, yes. This one is completely worked for you, but I want to go through it, okay? N plus 1 equals 12 divided by 3. Stay with me. This is the point that some of you are like, the answer's already there. Let me look out the window. Ha ha. So stay with me. N plus 2 equals 12 divided by 4. N plus 2 equals, what's 12 divided by 3? I think I just said 12 divided by 4. Forgive me. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so we've got n plus 2 equals 4. Now we have to do to both sides the same thing. The actual wording of that was, whatever is done to one side of an equation must be done to the other side of the equation. So here we are. You've got a 2. So you're going to have n plus 2 minus 2 equals 4 minus 2. So that is going to leave n on this side because 2 minus 2 is just going to leave the n because that's 0. Equals 4 minus 2, which is 2. Okay? So let's go back in and put that in. 2 plus 2 would be 4, and 12 divided by 3 would be 4. So see that? 2 plus 2 is 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 equals 4. Okay? All right, let's come over to B. Let's start to work this one together. I'm going to show you the answer. It's not as much about the answer as it is finding it. Okay? N minus 3 equals 8 times 2. If you do not have your pencil in your hand and you are not writing, I need you to start writing right now and make sure you write this down, okay? Make sure you're engaged and not only writing what you see. Make sure you know why you're writing what you see. Okay, n minus 3 equals 8 times 6. Remember, you solve the side without the letter of the alphabet. You solve it first. So 8 times 2 is 16. Now, you're going to have to do the same thing to the left side of the equation as you are to the right. So, here you are. You have n minus 3. You're going to put plus 3 equals 16 plus 3. Now, these 3's go away. Minus 3 and a plus 3 gives you nothing. So, n is equal to 16 plus 3, which is 19. Now, you're going to go back in and plug that in right there. That's where you're getting what to write on this line, okay? You're going to take the n and you're going to put 19, the same, then everything else is exactly as you see there. Minus 3 equals 8 times 2. So, 19 minus 3 is 16. 8 minus 2 is 16. Do you see how that works out very nicely? Okay, let's do C together. Okay, this is your equation, all right? What are we going to do first? Solve the side without, this is how they word it. So, look at number 1. Solve the side without the unknown number, okay? So, that will be 7 plus 2 is 9. You're going to put that there, then you're just going to put n plus 4 equals 9. Now, we're going to do to the same on the left side of the equals as we are to the right side of the equals, okay? So we have a plus 4. In order to get rid of that plus 4, we've got to do a minus 4. If you do a minus 4 on this side, you've got to do it on this side. So this is going to be n, because those cancel out. If you have $4 and I take $4, that cancels out, okay? So n equals 9 minus 4 is 5, okay? Now, you're going to plug this number in right here and write this equation down. So bring, instead of putting n here, you know that now n is equal to 5, so put 5. Then everything else looks exactly as the top line. Plus 4 equals 7 plus 2. 5 plus 4 is 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay, these, I like how they gave you a complete example. Then they had one that you could go over completely. Then they had 2 that they had only left out a few numbers to make sure that you were staying on track. Now, when you go to number 2, A, B, and C, you have to do them all by yourself, okay? We are going to do one of those together, okay? All right, we are going to, that way you kind of know what to do. So you're sitting here looking at this, trying to remember, what did I do, okay? You can always look right up here, here, up here, but we're going to do this one together. So you're just going to write this down, and then to the right of the equal mark, you're going to solve it because it does not have an unknown. 4 times 4 is 16, okay? Now you have got to get rid of this 6. It is a positive 6. You put a minus 6. If you have $6, you give me 6, bam, you have nothing, okay? And then on this side, 16 minus 6. So you got n now will be equal to 10. Okay, those cancel out. 16 minus 6 is 10. Now, you say, what do I do now? You go back in, and now that you know what n is, you plug it in right there, and you write exactly what you see. So the n becomes a 10 plus 6 equals 4 times 4. 10 plus 6 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you. I'm going to leave B and C for you to do on your own. If you're confused, call me, text me, FaceTime me, email me. Your parents have the email that has the answers on it. If you need to work and then look and make sure you got it right to see how you're doing, there's lots of options. But I'm here to help if that's still confusing, but I think you're probably going to think it's easy. Okay, I would like to do this word problem together. Matt wanted to buy his father a nice birthday present. He had $27.50 to spend. He found a Bible that had originally cost $25 but was 1/5 off. How much money did he have left after buying the Bible? Okay? Now, the first thing you're going to do, class, is you're going to take the 25, and because it's 1/5 off, you're going to divide it by 5. Okay? So 5 goes into 5 times, right? Okay. So it's $5 off. Do you see that? That's where you get the $5 off from. The 1/5, you divide the 5 into 25. Make sense? Because there's 5/5 in 25, and you only need to know what the value of 1/5 is, and 1/5 is $5. So $5 off, okay? What is the total amount, okay? The Bible costs $25. $25, so you can actually just use the same 25 if you want to. 25, it has nothing to do with it though, okay? This has nothing to do with this equation. But $25 minus 5 gives you 20. Let's not write it like that, because that could be very confusing if you look back on it. Let's not be lazy. Let's write it again. So you've got $25 minus $5 gives you $20. Okay? So you've got, this was a dollar sign as well, right? Okay. So you have $5 that's off, OFF. Then $20 is the cost of the Bible, because 25 minus 5. And then how much money did he have left after buying the Bible? So how much did he have to start off with? He had $27.50. Okay? And how much did he spend, class? The cost ended up being $20. So when you subtract that out, you have $7.50 left. $7.50 left, okay? $5 off, $20 cost, $7.50 left, okay? I hope that makes sense. I'll let you do the other one on your own. Okay, let's come on up to the good old 2-digit divisor, okay? The 4 is not bigger than a 5. Let me make sure that I'm making sense here, okay? The 4 is not bigger than a 5, so we're going to leave this 3. When we estimate, we're going to be using the 3. We will not bump it up to a 4 because this number is not bigger than a 5. So you ask yourself, will 34 divide into 8? No. Will 34 divide into 82? Yes. So I like to draw a line right there so I know what number I'm actually dividing into, okay? Now, so when you say, will 3 divide into 8? Yes. How many times? 2. That number doesn't go here because we know 34 is dividing into 82. It goes here. 2 times 2 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? Then you have to do what, class? You have got to borrow. That will be 12, and that will be 7. Okay? So 12 minus 8 is 4, and 7 minus 6 is 1. You're going to bring down your 4. And then you're going to ask yourself, how many times will 3 divide into 14? 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry your 1. 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 1 we carried is 13. Then you subtract. This 14 is going to be, a 4 is going to be a 14. We're borrowing. This 4 is going to now be a 3. 14 minus 6 is 8. 3 minus 3 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring down your 1. How many times will 3 go into 8? 2. 2 times 4 is, wait, am I looking at something right? Yes, 2 times 4 is 8, okay? And 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 3 is 6. You have 68. You're going to borrow again. That becomes a 7. This is an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down your 3. How many times will 3... Sorry, guys. I'm trying to look past my phone, and it makes it awkward. Okay, 3. How many times will 3 divide into a 13? That's 3. They're saying 3 times, but I'm going to tell you what I would have put. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So I would have put a 4 first, and then when I would have realized it was too big, and I would have had to have gone back and made that a 3. Don't be afraid if that happens to you, okay? Because if you're estimating 3 into 13, 3 times 4 is 12, you're going to put a 4 there. Then you're going to have to realize and go backward. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to always look at this number and say, like here, the 14 was less than 34, right? The 8 was less than 34, 13 less than 34, 31's less than 34. It's important that you always gauge this number to make sure that this number up here was as large as it could possibly be. Or it can be over, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now 3 times 4 is 12, carry your 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 0 is 3. Your remainder is 31. Now you come over, 2432 times 34, okay? Multiply that out. My class, remember, 4 times 3 is 12, carry your 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16, carry your 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 is the 9. Then you X that out and put a 0 here. Now here they put a blank spot. I like to exit and put the 0, whatever works for you. But sometimes if you don't hold that place value, you'll tend to slide your numbers over. Okay, so put your 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry your 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus that 1 is a 7. So 2 plus the 0 is 2. That's 18. Carry your 1. 13. Carry your 1. 12. Carry your 1. And that's an 8. Why are we adding a 31? Don't forget about that remainder. That's 3. 11. Carry your 1. That's 4. 82,413 is exactly what you have here. Always make sure this number equals that number. If not, checking has been a waste of your time. Okay? Now, try to put into practice what we've been working on and try your best to get B. Okay? I know we're not doing C because it's green. Okay? Now, I think you guys are in pretty good shape with the rest of it, and I realize my video for today has gotten kind of long, so I'm going to stop for today. And remember, you guys have follow the signs, and then remember over here, you're going to need to find your what? Common denominator, okay? Make sure to cancel if necessary, reduce when necessary on all these things, okay? Now, like down at the bottom is where you're going to be canceling, okay? Over here is where you're going to need to make sure you're reducing, alrighty? If you have a subtraction sign in your, let me see if you have one like that, what I'm looking for. Yep, you have a subtraction right here, but you can subtract, let's see here. Let me see. Nope, up here you're going to have to borrow. You got to come over here and borrow one. That's the tricky stuff I've been talking about. So make sure you don't forget to borrow, and when you borrow, it's going to be the denominator on top of the denominator, right? Let's just go ahead and do this one together because this one's kind of hairy. Okay, so you ask yourself, will 6 divide evenly into 11? It will not. So you have to say, okay, What are my multiples of 11? 11, 22. Will 6 divide into 22? No. Then it goes to 33. Will 6 divide into 33? No. 44? No. 55? No. 66? Yes, that becomes your common denominator. Okay? 6 goes into 66. How many times? Okay? So that will be 6 times. And then, that will be 11 times. I'm sorry. Then 11 times 1 is 11. 11 goes into 66 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. You cannot subtract 12 from 11. Okay? You've got to come over here and borrow 1, make that a 22. See how that became a 22? And what in the world do you add? Okay? How many pieces of pie do you have? 66, right, class? You have 66 pieces of pie. So you're actually going to add, you have all of them left, so 66 over 66. So 11 plus 66 gives you 77, and then you have your common denominator, and 12 remains the same. Now remember, your 23 went to a 22 because you borrowed an entire pie. Okay? 77 minus 12 is 65. You put your common denominator. 22 minus 9, don't forget to borrow. That's going to become a 1. This is going to be a 12. 12 minus 9 is 3, and that's a 1. 13 and 65, 66, and it cannot be reduced anymore. Okay? So, common denominator, sometimes they're harder to find. Remember to borrow, and what do you borrow? It's always the denominator over top of itself because you have all the pieces of your pie. Remember, when you get to here, if necessary, you will need to reduce. One more thing I wanted to mention. Remember, temperature is going to be on your what? Quiz 15, so take your time here. I think you guys are doing pretty good with these, but let's take a look down here. Do not forget to cancel. Right out of the gate here, class, you've got 4/7 times 3/4. 4 divides into 4 one time. 4 divides into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 7 times 1 is 7. That's 3/7. Okay? Remember here, this is green. I'm going to do it with you real fast. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. What's going to be the denominator? The one that's already there, 9/4. Then you've got 5/18, okay? Then you ask yourself if you can cancel. Yes, you can. You can cancel the 8. 8 will go into 8 one time. 8 will go into 16 two times. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 2 is 8. Your answer is 5/8. Okay. You guys did great. Finish up your pages. Have a great day. Bye-bye.